Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. I'm Lisa Shield.
And I'm Benjamin Shield.
And of course, this is my amazing husband. So this is a really important episode with everything going on in the world right now, so much instability, disconnection, and fear. It can be easy to feel like this isn't the time to date. A lot of women are telling me they're putting love on hold and waiting for things to settle down. But the truth is, we don't know when things are going to settle down or go back to normal. And here's the truth. There's never really been a better time to date because in times like this, it really puts everybody in touch with what matters most in life.
Yes.
And love is the most important thing of all. So men need love too, and more than they're able to admit, more than most women even realize. You can keep finding reasons not to date, or you can decide that now is the best time to find a partner. So today we want to have a very real, very open conversation about what it's like for a man to go through life, especially in times like these, without a partner, and what it feels like to finally be in a healthy, loving relationship. So Benjamin's going to share things most men never say out loud, and my hope is that by the end of this episode, you'll walk away with a deeper understanding of just how powerful your presence is in a man's life. Because you're not just dating, you're bringing something to the table that most men are desperately craving: emotional safety, warmth, support, and connection. So let's dive in. Babe, I think most women underestimate how important having partnership is for men. In my experience, the emotional support of a partner is even more important for men because many men have no one to talk to. The only person they really talk to or open up to is a girlfriend or a wife. And some men aren't capable of having a close, intimate relationship, but there's a huge void in their lives when they don't have a partner, especially in these uncertain times. So how do you think the chaos in the world today affects men emotionally, even if they don't talk about it?
When you first told me the subject of today's, I pictured a choppy sea. And I pictured one person in a boat on the choppy sea. And it really takes two people to keep the boat stable. Otherwise, that one person is just tossed around and is at the effect of all what's going on in the world. And so with a partner, there's a stability. There's a rational person that you can speak to and that you could hear their thoughts. And that you know that you're in a partnership, so it's not one person alone just being tossed around in the sea. It's two people navigating life together.
Yeah.
And I can't underestimate that. You and I have both been single, of course. And the difference between our lives as a single person and our lives as a couple it's a different universe.
Right. Yeah. And I think about that boat in that choppy sea that you're talking about, and it's, as partners, if you were on a choppy sea, one person might be able to paddle while the other was taking the bucket and bailing the water.
Which is very apt.
Yeah. But if you were alone in that boat, you couldn't bail out the water and row at the same time. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get there any faster or any easier, but it does mean that you're going to be able to get there eventually together. The next question is that I wanted to ask you is, what kind of toll does it take on a man when he doesn't have someone to come home to, especially now?
You can imagine just an everyday, regardless of what's happening in the world, but having a day of challenges, a day of worrying if you're going to be laid off, a day of competition, a day of just everyday internal and external difficulties, then going home and closing the door behind you, locking the door, and then what?
Yeah.
And I think most men would just turn on the TV and veg out, maybe have a beer or two or whatever they do. It's an empty life.
And maybe go to the gym and just try to burn it off, or...
Ideally.
Yeah.
But sometimes when people get so lonely that it's hard to do positive things for oneself. And one just begins to, the world becomes, it shrinks.
Right.
And so going out to the gym or going to charitable events or reaching out doesn't seem in the world. It doesn't, it's a possibility. It just doesn't feel like we would do it.
So they either just watch television or drink alcohol, or
Yeah.
a lot of men today are smoking pot. There's a lot of men who are smoking pot just to try to take the edge off, but it just numbs people out.
Yeah.
It's just, these are coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And it's lonely.
Yeah.
Women would go home and call their girlfriends, or they may go visit family or do a lot of other kinds of things, but men are pretty much isolated with their own thought,
Yeah.
alone with their thoughts.
And the extra burden is that it's difficult for a man to say, I'm lonely. It's really hard. So not only is he alone and lonely, but he can't reach out to someone and say, I'm alone and I'm lonely and I'm hungry for companionship, for partnership.
Have you ever gone through a time in your life where you felt deeply alone? And what did that feel like for you?
I have to say that I've never felt totally alone because I had loving parents. But on a personal level, yes, I have felt lonely. And there's like nothing that could fill that empty bucket. You could go to the movies, you could read a book, you could take yourself out to dinner, you could get a massage, whatever it might be. But it never fills the bucket that having a partner, a loving relationship could fill.
Yeah, and I know that this isn't what a lot of women want to hear, but I could imagine why men turn to pornography, or they go to strip clubs or prostitutes or whatever to put a kind of empty, like a Band-Aid on that emptiness and loneliness. And
yeah, and of course, it's all a fantasy world.
yeah.
At a strip club, they're like ATM machines, and here's $1 or $5 or $20. Now pretend that you care about me. And they leave not fulfilled. Wow, that woman really cared about me. They feel empty. Wow, I just had to pay someone to get what I really need, what I desire, what would be my core need, yeah? And it's all fantasy, and it disappears. And it not only disappears, but often we feel worse afterwards.
Yeah. It's important, I think, that women hear this, because it's so easy for us to think that men don't need partnership, or that they're all emotionally unavailable or avoidant or narcissistic. And certainly those men are out there. They are out there. But there are plenty of wonderful men, good men, suffering in silence.
And can I just add that those avoidant men and men who seem unavailable, they can be the loneliest of men.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that sometimes avoidant men are people that feel they could never get it. So they're going to prove that the other person's wrong, or they don't need that person. And it's tragedy. It's tragic for them, and it's tragic for the person that they were with.
Or they push someone away before they get hurt.
Yeah.
But it's sad, and I think that while you can't take a man who is avoidant or is not engaging and make him engage with you as a woman, if you feel that you're dating somebody who isn't available or really is not wanting to make room for you in his life, then you move on from that person. But not dating and not looking for love is also not the answer, because there are good men out there, and they're looking for good women. In fact, that's what we teach in our program. We show the women in our course how to make space for a man to open up, what a man's emotional vulnerability actually looks like and sounds like. Men don't pour their hearts out in the way that women do. So for a man, it may be full self-disclosure just to say, I'm feeling lonely right now, without any further explanation. And many women miss that. They say, he's not opening up to me, he's not sharing. And men may need time to share. It may start with, I'm feeling lonely, and just he sees how that lands and how a woman responds. And then the next time he may open up a little more and a little more. But a lot of women think that just because a man doesn't say a lot, he's not saying anything.
When we think about the strong male characters in movies, Gary Cooper in High Noon, or just all the guys that are strong and tough and accomplished, and they're not vulnerable until in the movie they find a woman that they could open up to, and they have these amazing vulnerable moments. And just about every single movie is about that. And men love those movies because they're strong, they're internal, they have to put on a show of strength, and that they have it all together. And there's no one to talk to because their friends are doing the same thing. And in just about every one of these movies, whether it's a Marvel Universe movie, whether it's an action movie, whether it's whatever it might be, even animation, that these strong men, once they have the connection, they open up. And it's like their heart opens up, the world opens up.
And that's what they're longing for. I think women also think that it's just so much about youth and beauty and physical attraction, but the physical attraction is a part of it. It's the first thing a man notices. Oh, I'm very attracted to her. But then what sustains the relationship, what really deepens it, is her heart.
I think what creates a lasting relationship for a man is, yes, physical beauty is wonderful. And I've dated I'm 72, so I've dated some beautiful women, of course yourself included.
Thanks.
But what keeps a relationship is how a man feels when he's with that woman. And a woman doesn't have to be a beauty queen or a head turner. It's how he feels when he's with her.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest breakthroughs for me was when I realized I was living in Los Angeles and there's so many stunningly beautiful women. I couldn't compete on that level. I'm not saying I'm not attractive at all. It's not about that, but to compete with some of these thoroughbreds, these women who won the gene pool jackpot or lottery. But I realized that what a lot of those women were missing was the ability to understand men and really draw men out and make a man feel safe and like he could open up to her. Yeah. Because a lot of those women were also focused on superficial things themselves and very much of a mindset, which I think is something I see in a lot of women. We're pretty much taught that men are supposed to cater to us, cherish us, adore us, make us happy. And so in a lot of women's minds, it's all coming this way, from the man to the woman, but they're not really looking at, what do I give him?
Yeah, and it's a paradox because a man puts on this shell of masculinity to prove to the world and to prove to women that they're masculine, that they're strong, that they're capable, that they're deserving of respect. And if he's with a woman who shows him, who mirrors that masculinity back to him, that shell begins to disappear because he doesn't have to put on that, I'll use the term, the costume, because it's getting mirrored back to him. So he changes.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. What's the difference between how a man shows up in your life when he's in a loving partnership versus when he's not?
The world can throw us curves every day, sometimes every hour of the day. And if a man knows that he is surrounded with this bubble of love, regardless of what happens in his mind, he says, at least I'm loved by her. It makes all the difference than being just tossed around without that insulation, that comfort of love. And men desire respect, sometimes even more than love. They desire respect. And so to be able to come home and say, You can't believe what I just did. I just closed this deal, or I just won this court case, or I just signed this person up for this program, whatever it is, that to have that respect mirrored back to them, it means the world to them.
And I love doing that.
You do.
I'm so proud of you. It's so natural. But I really marvel. And I think also what I see is that at this age, you're as vibrant and alive and productive and innovative as you've ever been. You're about to teach all these courses, and I think you filled every single one of them. And I'm just so proud of you. I can't believe that you're doing that. And I know that my joy feeds your passion and your desire to do those things. Who knows at this age where you would be if we weren't together and you didn't have this mirroring and this somebody who is so excited, and who knows where you'd be.
I don't know how much of what I do and accomplish and my striving for excellence is for me, but how much of it is for you?
Yeah, because we love seeing ourselves mirrored in each other's eyes and getting excited together about what we're both doing in the world and supporting each other in that. Why do you think so many men are silently suffering, even the ones who look together on the outside?
First, the guys that look together on the outside, meaning that they've got a great car, they have a good career, that they look great, and they act positive. They've got a swagger. Those are some of the loneliest people, or can be some of the loneliest people, I should say. And men are taught to, by advertisement and movies and just society, to act a certain way, to look a certain way. But all of that is really to attract a woman.
Right.
If someone has a Maserati and a $2,000 suit, or now it may be a $6,000 suit, that it's not just to say, look at me, like a kid on a diving board saying, look at me, but it's to really attract a partner. Mm-hmm. And they don't know another way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of energy that goes into that. We weren't so fond of the show, but we were watching Friends and Neighbors last night. And just in the very first 20 minutes of the first episode, where John Hamm goes from, it really is the arc of that story that we're talking about, where he's putting all that energy into getting the bigger house and the bigger house and the kids and everything. And finally, he achieves it all. When he's put all that energy into becoming the man who can please his beautiful wife, and it all comes crashing down.
Right. It is the bonfire of the vanities.
Yeah.
It all can go up in smoke. But what's left, what remains, is the foundation.
And what is so tragic, what's so sad, is him when he walks away. That's where we stopped watching. But where her new boyfriend comes out and I'm paying for all of this for you?
Right.
Like, what the heck? So it's exhausting. And for what? For what? And without a woman's real love and commitment, none of that matters. It's bonfire of the vanities. So what do you imagine it would have felt like to go through something like the pandemic or a war or a major crisis without a loving partner?
I think the world gets very small, smaller than sometimes we could ever imagine. It's working remotely. It's not having human contact. It's not having live voices. It's not having human touch. And if we had a partner, we would have the human touch. We'd have a voice there. We would have someone to share our moment-to-moment events rather than just Zoom calls. And it fills our world. The Zoom calls are episodic, and it may be whatever it is, 1 Zoom call, 4 Zoom calls a day. But in between, there's a void, there's an emptiness. So having someone there with you just makes all the difference.
But what would you have done? You couldn't work during the pandemic.
Because you had your practice, which was on the internet, I helped you every way that I could. I cooked.
But if you couldn't have, like if your practice had shut down and you had been completely cut off.
I would have gone into a tremendous depression, which I didn't go through during the pandemic. And during the time, I've been in practice 43 years, 3+ years. And after a while, it's inculcated in me. There's very little difference between what I do and who I am. And if I can't do what I do, there were moments when I was folding socks during the pandemic. And all these decades of experience I'm unfolding. But I knew it would pass. And it was tolerable. Not just tolerable, but we had fun.
Yeah, but even financially, that would have been devastating.
Oh, yeah. There are times where you were working on projects and not really bringing in income.
Yes.
And times where I was, either it was a pandemic or I was ill.
Yes.
Or post-surgical, that it would have been devastating.
Yeah.
It would be unimaginable, because besides being ill or having surgery or not being able to work, but to begin to lose one's home or I couldn't imagine.
So when a man is lonely, how does he tend to cope? And I think you talked about that.
Well, I think Dave Barry, the difference between men and women, in that essay that we love, the guy comes home and he turns on the TV and watches a replay of years ago of two Argentinian tennis players,
Yeah.
and he's eating a bag of Doritos. That's how we cope.
Right.
Yeah.
You just like tune out and watch a ball bounce back and forth.
Yeah, I remember when I started my practice 43+ years ago, I was really working a lot to build my practice, and I wasn't turning anyone away, because there was the fire in the belly to create a career and even a name for oneself then. And I'd come home, first I'd stop at Jack in the Box or Burger King and have a couple beers, watch reruns of Miami Vice, and go to bed, and then rinse and repeat. If I had someone to come home to then, it would be like, you wouldn't believe my day. This person was this, and that person got better, and I can't figure out this case. And I wouldn't be eating so much Jack in the Box that, as my friend Richard Carlson, who had passed, but we would joke that we'd order extra sets of silverware and extra drinks so that we wouldn't be embarrassed with the person in the window handing us all the food.
That's very funny. What does it feel like to be truly loved by a woman during times when the world feels unsafe or overwhelming?
It feels like you have a safety net and a bubble. First, there's things that there's no vocabulary, because there's no vocabulary great enough or specific enough to really describe a feeling. And so the feeling, as close as I can come to describing it, is of comfort, of safety, of knowing you're loved, of knowing even if you make a mistake, it's within the container that she keeps, large enough that there's room for all of these things. There's room for success, there's room for failure, but the love is constant.
Yeah. I don't think we ever judge each other. We see what's happening, we see everything, and we don't put our heads in the sand, but we always see, no matter what, the good intention, the hard work, the commitment to each other, and no matter what's going on, we're there supporting each other, and we never finger point or blame or each other for anything. We're truly a couple.
Yeah.
We're truly a couple, and no matter what decision one of us makes that affects the relationship, we take it as we're two parts of a whole, and we're both contributing, and we do everything, no matter what we do and how it works out, that we both are doing everything we can out of love. And that's how we see it, no matter what.
Yeah. And in your course, you often use the term being guardians of each other's souls. And so, first, I'll tell you what it feels like to have a guardian, and then not.
Mm-hmm. Babe, if you could say one thing to the women listening who think it isn't the right time to date, what would you say to them?
Oh, I think this is the most extraordinary time to date. We live in a world of uncertainty right now. And for a man to have a partner, he's seeking that, not just companionship, but the other part of his life that really completes him. The world is so uncertain for a man. He could be laid off, as can a woman. But speaking for a man, this competition, the economy can cause contracts to be canceled. All kinds of things can happen in a man's life. And if he goes home and closes the door to his apartment, locks the door or house, and it's empty, there's just no one to speak with. It's a void. And he doesn't know what to do with the day. He doesn't know what to do with his feelings. So he may try to numb himself with television, with alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. But it's a time where we all need partnership, and men are particularly aware of that.
Yeah. And they don't open up to anybody except a woman they're in love with and that they feel safe with.
Oh yeah, men have episodic events with friends. We'll go to a game or watch a game or go to a bar, play cards, but it's not being vulnerable, as we can't be vulnerable with guys the way we can with that special woman.
Yeah.
And that's what we seek.
And especially now where people feel so lost, I think women and men both, there's no more valuable investment of our time and energy and even money than dating and pursuing love and partnership. We saw the houses in the Palisades burn down, and you can invest in a home, it can go up in smoke. The stock market goes up and down. But love, this is the greatest investment any human being could possibly make in the quality of their life, is having a true partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed. It's been a magical 23 years with you, babe.
Yeah. Magical doesn't even begin to describe it.
And whatever's going on in the world, with all the uncertainty and ups and downs, we've had each other and we've had our dogs.
Yes.
And what else, what more could
Right.
someone ask for?
We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It could bring anything. There's so many things that are unexpected, that's life-changing. But the one thing that's a constant is relationship.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, babe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending this time with everybody. I really want to just say, you come on these calls and you share your heart with everyone, and you're so vulnerable. And it's such a gift because women get to see and hear how a man like you really thinks and feels. And the beauty is, it's important for them to know that you're not the only man out there who has these thoughts and feelings. So you're sharing your heart, but you're also speaking up and speaking out for other men like you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's my pleasure.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you for these conversations.
I know this conversation will stay with so many women who hear it. And for those of you listening, if something touched your heart today, and if you found yourself thinking, wow, I had no idea men felt that way, or maybe it's not too late for me to get out and date and find the guardian of my soul, I want to invite you to take the next step. This is what we talk about in my Emotionally Naked Dating program. We help smart, successful women like you understand how high-quality men really think, how to attract them, and how to create the kind of partnership you've always wanted, but didn't think was possible for you. So if you're tired of feeling like love is out of reach, or you're just not sure how to find it in today's world, we'd love to support you and give you our step-by-step proven roadmap that's worked for thousands of women. Just go to lisashield.com and book a free love strategy session with a member of our team. It could be the most important hour you spend all year, because the right man, he's not just looking for someone to date, he's looking for you. And also, just a program reminder, I do these broadcasts, or we do these broadcasts every Sunday from 10 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern. And I also do a second broadcast of myself called Finding the Guardian of Your Soul, which is the title of this broadcast. And I do that at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time and 1:30 Eastern. So please join me for both of those broadcasts. Set up your breakthrough call, your strategy session, and we want to thank you for joining us today. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and please come back and see us. Also, tell everyone you know, your sisters and brothers, aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers, your nieces and nephews, girlfriends, guy friends, everybody about this broadcast. We want to get the word out. Nobody is talking about these subjects the way we do. So thank you for supporting us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.